Good evening, everyone. Can I please have a motion and a second to reconvene the public meeting? All in favor? Aye. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence for our servicemen and women, and also a moment of silence for Miss Virginia Harper, a special education coordinator in our district that recently passed.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. District Clerk, please call the roll. Sure.
Marisol Mallon, President.
Present.
April Anatelli, Vice President. Present. Jackie DiLorenzo, Trustee. Present. Sarah Parisi, Trustee. Here. Melissa Torregrossa, Trustee. Present. Michael Ibrahim, Student Board Member. Dr. Joseph Centimore, Superintendent.
Present.
Reza Kolanifer, Assistant Super Admin Personnel.
Hello.
Robert Hauser, Assistant Super Business and Operations.
Present.
Christina Poppy, Assistant Super Curriculum and Instruction. Present. Anthony Pisano, District Attorney.
Present.
John Allen, Assistant to the Superintendent.
Present.
Lori O'Hara, Executive Director of Professional Development and Special Education. Present. Thank you.
Thank you. May I please have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the October 28, 2025 and the November 3rd, 2025 meeting?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have some special kids to recognize tonight. I will pass the floor to Ms. Poppy.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us this evening as we take some time to recognize our outstanding musicians in 11th and 12th grade. So to start things off, this past weekend, the Miss Cave Suffolk, which stands for the New York State Council of Administrators of Music Education, held their annual all-county concert, which is for the top 11th and 12th grade musicians in all of Suffolk County. These students last year performed a NYSSMA solo in the spring. They were nominated by their teachers, and then they were selected to participate. And we had 30 members from our district at the high school selected for this group, which is a large amount, and we're very proud of all of them. So we're going to call you up, and you come up to receive a certificate, and you can stand right up here in front of the stage, please. Austin Baker, Andrew Locksmith, Elizabeth Smith. Samantha DeLuca. Jesse Ollinger. Leah Walsh. Abigail Thomas. Kelly Greener. Timothy Moulton. Sincere Stallworth. Corey Davis. Bianca Espinal. Olivia Ferrantino. Jim Burke. Madison Holdmacher. Casey Miller. Jenna Banish. Belle Demlin. Anthony De La Rosa. Julia Nishki. Randy Gunn. Riley LaRocca. Xavier Vargas. Caitlin Planjack. Steve Morelli. Anthony Kaufman. Christopher Rappel. Gabriel Gonzalez. And Matthew Johnson. As they're getting themselves set, there were 4 ensembles. We had a symphony orchestra, the symphonic band, a mixed choir, and the treble choir. We had a wonderful performance Friday evening held at Hop High School, and it was a beautiful concert. I know many of you were there. It was great to see you all. Thank you for your support. In addition to our NISK Multnomah County students, NISMA, which I mentioned before, the New York State School Music Association, holds a conference in Rochester every single year which features performing ensembles comprised of the best musicians in the entire state. Last spring, there were 5,800 students, sophomores and juniors, who applied for this, who auditioned from the entire state of New York, preparing their all-state evaluations in hopes to be selected. And there were 800 students selected to participate in the festival this year, and I'm honored to say we had 4 students selected for ensembles and 2 for alternates. So those students are Samantha DeLuca, Elizabeth Smith, Riley LaRocca, Casey Miller, Brady Dunn, and Matthew Johnson. So a big hand for all of them. Congratulations. Thank you. We'll be traveling up to Rochester in 2 weeks to be technical student for a 4-day conference and final concert. So on behalf of all of our music teachers, I want to extend a heartfelt congratulations to all of our students involved. We're very proud of our students who have been invited to participate in these ensembles this month. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank all of our music teachers, all of them, K through 12, for all the tremendous impact they have on our students each and every single day. They've all played an important role in the success of all of our students. So once again, I'm incredibly proud of all of your accomplishments, and I look forward to seeing you all showcase your talents in the many performances and events that we have in the upcoming school year. So congratulations to you, and thank you for your support. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Malfonsi. Congratulations to all the students today. Well received, Donna. Can I please have a motion and a second to suspend the business meeting and convene the public hearing on the district-wide safety plan, cardiac emergency response plan, addendum? All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Labate, the floor is yours.
All right, good evening. First and foremost, congratulations to all the students with that award. Tough act to follow, but I just want to say, I told Vincent this once before, since I've been working here, I've actually developed an appreciation for the music, and I find myself doing security checks a little extra over the music when you guys are practicing, so, you know, helping me develop a little culture. But thank you. Keep up the good work, and congratulations. So, good evening. My name is Adam Labate. I'm the Assistant Director of Security for the district. I work alongside with the Director of Security, Mr. Don Flynn. And I'm here this evening to present the updated district-wide safety plan for the 2025-26 school year. The plan was originally submitted on July 1st, 2025 at the reorg meeting for the 30-day option period for the district, as well as presenting it to the public to allow for public comment and questions. But like all other plans, they are fluid in nature and are regularly updated for newly adopted procedures and protocols. Tonight's presentation is to present the updated plan to reflect DSH's law, which is a cardiac arrest emergency response plan. A little background on both the district-wide safety plan as well as DSH's law. The plan was developed by the district safety-wide team, which consists of representatives from the Board of Ed, administrators, community members, and parents. The team meets quarterly or on an as-needed basis to keep the plans updated and address any concerns needed. The plan is a public document which is available to view on the website, and it differs from the building plans which are submitted at the building level and are confidential in nature due to its sensitive information provided. The purpose of the plan and the team is outlined in the mission statement and in sum and substance is established to provide for the safety, health, and security of all students, faculty, and staff while allowing input from the community. Like I mentioned earlier, the plan was presented at the July 1st meeting. However, on August 14th of this year, Governor Hochul did sign into policy DSH's law, which specifies for an outlined procedure and protocols in response to a school-related cardiac situation. The law is named for a 15-year-old girl from Western New York who tragically died after suffering a cardiac episode while playing basketball. It was determined in the assessment, had there been an AED present, she more than likely would have survived. So Governor Hochul did take all this information and she signed it into law to have a separate cardiac emergency response plan, a separate amendment, a separate section in the plan itself. So she did sign that law into effect early this year on August 14th, actually at Bill's training camp. That was to recognize Damar Hamlin, who did, if you remember, did suffer a cardiac emergency on the field during a nationally televised game in 2023. And with the quick response of EMTs, the team trainers, and the use of an automated external defibrillator, he did survive and was able to return to football. And he's actually still active playing, he's returned to full health. So the procedure does highlight the reactions and protocols in any emergency situation. For example, calling 911, securing the scene, calling for help, and any general emergency situation. But much of the new procedure is tailor-made in response to a cardiac-specific emergency. These new procedures include, but they're not limited to, identifying the warning signs of a cardiac arrest, identifying who is certified in the use of an AED, knowledge of the locations of the AED, and lastly, the training and certification of AEDs and CPR. I just wanted to specify the difference between certification and training. Certification is you take the course and you get certified by the Red Cross. The nurses and coaches and trainers are certified. But we'd like to give the training, and this is one thing I see from ConnectWise, they're always one step ahead of the training with safety and security. Training is just the knowledge of basic first aid, basic CPR, and the use of the defibrillator. So Don Flynn and his team last year, they put together a program through ConnectWise with the high school where we basically trained and instructed every high school student on the use of the defibrillators as well as basic CPR, basic first aid. Like I said, it's not a Red Cross certification, but it gives these students, the faculty and staff, the knowledge of the equipment being used and how to act in the response to an emergency situation. And it was over the course of a week. It was during gym class, and they got every high school student trained, as well as coming to the middle school, and they gave an age-appropriate instruction on basic first aid and CPR. So for the classes, I can tell you, for the classes I was able to observe the training, I got such great positive feedback from the students, faculty, and staff. A lot of the kids were participating, raising their hands, asking questions. And a couple of the kids, like walking out, like at minimum, they said, "Oh, at least I know where the defibrillator is now." And part of the instruction of that is the defibrillators are so basic. They're very simple to use, and when you open them up, they actually walk you through. Once you hit that power button, it shows you step by step, and it actually tell you verbally, remove the pad, place the pad here, and it's very simple to use. And these kids have the understanding that, God forbid, a student has to use it, they have the understanding and knowledge of how to use it. So I'm happy to answer comments or concerns, but you can submit any questions to the email at safetyplan2025-26@ccsdli.org. Thank you, and I look forward to a successful 2025-26 school year. That was the end of my speech from the summer, but I'm still looking forward to it.
Thank you, Mr. Valani. Anybody up here have any questions for Mr. Valani? Does anybody in the public have any questions?
Question. And I'm going back now to years that this is on here. And why do we still have, and I know we have that pandemic planning, still showing coronavirus on there? Do we have to do that? And I'm really not crazy about the fact that it says we may use PPE such as masks. I think it's no secret how much I am anti-mask, especially during that time. But that's still on there because.
Yeah. There is still state mandates. It shouldn't say coronavirus, it should specify in a pandemic situation. So I don't know how old your copy is, but they are still state mandates on procedures and protocols if, God forbid, there is another pandemic.
Okay, yeah, the one I had to say, there's a link here, coronavirus 2019.
Yeah.
So I'm just, that was.
Yeah, but that was something that was added, and it continues as part of the plan. God forbid, there is another one, but we hope we never have to actually pull that part of the plan out.
Thank you.
All right.
Can I please call for a motion and a second to suspend the public hearing and reconvene the business meeting? All in favor? Aye. We now have a presentation on the low-income senior citizen exemption and low-income disabled persons exemption. Mr. Hauser.
Sorry, Bobby, before you speak, I know a lot of the students are here, and I know you have school tomorrow. If you do not want to stay, you do not have to.
There you go.
Extra credit though if you listen to the presentation by Mr. Hauser.
Is that a clear room?
Okay, good evening. Just a few things before I start. Number one, I made a few extra copies of the presentation that you see up on the screen if anybody wants to help himself with a copy. Second thing is I want to thank Dan Zeiger, the Town of Islip Assessor, for her assistance. And I also want to thank Connecticut resident Mr. Steve Sisti, sitting up here in the second row, for his assistance in communication as well. So I'll try to make this robust and succinct. It involves two exemptions that really come down from the state. The low-income senior citizen exemption And we're also going to couple that with the low-income disabled person's exemption. So what we're going to try to explain as clearly as possible here are some options that exist with regards to these two exemptions. So right now, the school district is currently at the maximum eligibility exemption of $29,000 for a 50% exemption, and there's a sliding scale for a smaller exemption up to $37,400. What does that mean? For the most part, in order for a senior citizen or a low-income disabled person to get this exemption on their school taxes only, that's what we're talking about right here as it relates to the school, their income limit would be $29,000. So that it should sound fairly low, and it is. And then really at the maximum level, it phases out at $37,400. However, right now the town of Islip and the county of Suffolk, their income limits are $50,000, okay, and then sliding all the way up to $58,400 with a smaller exemption. So the purpose of the presentation is for the public and for the board, and we don't need to do this tonight, is to consider increasing the exemption from that $29,000 all the way up to the $50,000, right? And per Ann Danziger at the town, the board has the option to go somewhere in the middle if they like, or they can go straight up from 29 to 50,000.
Sorry, good question. Up to 50,000, or does that allow up to 58,400?
So just trying to keep it simple. Right now, the 29, okay, gets you the 50% exemption. So we're going to go consider bringing that up to 50 for the 50% exemption. Just trying to keep apples to apples here. All right. The other numbers would be the 37,400 going up to the 58,400.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So here's another slide. I don't want to get too much into this, but this is information that was provided direct from the town assessor's office. And it, for the most part, spells out what I just said, increasing those exemption maximums up to $50,000. I want to focus, though, on the bottom portion of this slide, which is, once again, from the town. So if we start off on the left there, the senior citizen exemption. Within the town right now, there's a little over $9 million in assessed value there. TOI exempt AV is the town of Islip exempt assessed valuation. So there are properties totaling over $9 million, and then the number of properties is 597. Senior citizen-wise that apply for that $50,000 exemption. If you carry over to the column that says CCSD, which is the school district, okay, right now there's just shy of 4 million. It's 3,916,000, and there's 269 parcels in the district that qualify for that lower income $29,000 number. If, okay, this is the big if we move from the 29 up to the 50,000, it's going to take $5,330,000 in assessed value properties, okay, which is 328 additional properties are going to qualify under the higher exemption limit, okay? And just going down to the disability exemption, the same numbers, I'll say comparable numbers apply there, although it's a lot less, okay? Does anybody have a question?
Yeah, just for the public, because you're saying assessed value, I want you to realize that assessed value is not the amount of money that we will be getting losing or this one cent.
Good point, and that's correct. Yep, and I'll show the actual monies on another slide here, okay? Any other questions before we move on? Oops, too quick. Okay, so here's the slide that I think is, in my opinion, the most important. And this is right now, as we're talking estimated numbers based on what the town has given us. So all the way over to the right, in pink, if you look at that $1,157,649 number, $49,000 number, that's the actual amount of school tax that's going to be shifted to the people who are non-low-income senior citizens and non-low-income disabled persons. So that $1,157,000, if the board eventually goes with that higher $50,000 limit, that amount of money will have to be shifted or spread out and paid for by those people who are non-low-income senior citizens or disabled persons. If you carry that pink column down at the bottom there, I gave estimates here of how much a particular residential homeowner would have to pay to absorb their share of that $1,157,000 number. So for example, if someone has a home that's assessed, okay, and you'd have to look at your tax bill to see what the actual assessment is. But if the home is assessed at $10,000, if you carry that all the way over to the right in pink, they would see their school taxes increase about $16.88 per year. Yep. And then for the most part, you know, I did it in increments of 10,000, so it's really just going up by the $16.88. And even at the high end, the $50,000 home, carrying that all the way over that particular home, we're having to pay $84.40 in school tax for the entire year. Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. We're talking about spreading out the burden, essentially, for the other retention burden to the other residents. Yet, is there a way that district can maybe find, other than doing, whether it be, I keep saying this, a grant or something, to alleviate to our residents? Because there's money out there. Essentially, the district finding that money.
So yes, to answer your question, especially when we do the budget for the school, if we can find grant monies that can come directly into the general fund of the district, different from the special aid fund. So if we can find monies that can the district can take advantage of and receive into the general fund, that would play a role in reducing the actual tax levy to everyone in the district.
So what you're saying is it doesn't necessarily have to be a perceived burden on the residents of the community, monetary burden. We may be able to find it another way. There are other alternative ways.
Right.
This is just one.
Correct.
Okay.
If we did go out of state a grant, would it be something that would only be for the next school year, and then it's run out, or whatever it might be, like something that would last? You know, something
Yeah.
that wouldn't just, now they get hit with it the next year, they only get the.
Right, that's an important point, you know, to make sure, I guess, to try to ensure that those grants are consistent year after year, even though they may be a different grant, but you don't want to see that high, you know, amount of grant go away, and then all of a sudden you've got to collect that money from the taxpayers.
But it is prudent that we take care of our seniors, because honestly, there are some seniors that have lived here their entire lives, and they lose a spouse and they lose that part of the income. So, you know, we have to try and figure something out.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I really want to thank Steve Siski. I cannot say enough what he did for our senior citizens in our community. He has met with all of us. He made us binders. He went through every aspect of how much it means to be seniors to stay where they've been living for years, to ensure that they can live in our community. So So I really, what you did for the community members, it's amazing. Great job.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? So I just want to map out the future steps here. The town has a deadline of March 1st for the board to actually make a decision on increasing the exemption. If the board feels comfortable going further, and the board wants to adopt the higher limits, we could do that at a December meeting, and we could do that at the January meeting as well. We don't have to wait all the way until March. Okay. But if there are no other questions or no other information that the board wants us to bring back in December, and the presentation finished.
And thank you, Bob.
You're welcome.
Thanks all together. I know it takes time.
Yeah, I would be fine with doing it sooner, if everybody's okay with that, I am fine with that.
Yeah, good job.
I'm fine with sooner. Why wait? Thank you, Mr. Hauser. Do we have anybody from Orba? SEPTA? ETA Council? All right. Mr. Ibrahim, do you have anything?
I do. Hold on, I just have to pull out my notes. All right, so firstly, this Friday is the annual Freshman Awareness, which I know everybody's very excited for. I'm going to be there volunteering for that, and I know I was there for the training. There's a ton of upperclassmen there volunteering, as well as a ton of faculty members volunteering for that, so that's going to be a lot of fun. This year is not a sleepover. I don't think it was last year either. Yeah, I know, like, for me personally, I know that event was very important and helped me kind of acclimate to the high school, so I'm very excited for that. Beyond that, I know that there's a lot of things going on right now with the holidays. There's a lot of people, or a lot of clubs and organizations in the school working on stocking the Connect Well Food Pantry. Today at the Honor Society meeting, we made a motion to, for I believe it was like $200 to get food for the food pantry. And I know there's a number of clubs, like I said, doing food drives. So that should be going well soon. And then the start of winter sports was yesterday. So all the winter sports are beginning. And today, I think the students have it at different times because it was during gym periods. But there was an assembly through the outreach program, and they brought some students who have been going through rehab from substance abuse in to talk to us. And I just want to say I really prefer those types of assemblies over the ones where it's like kind of like an adult or a professional coming and speaking, because it feels like a bit removed from the situation, whereas when it's somebody who's like our age, who's in it, who relates to them, it feels a lot more meaningful. So I just wanted to share that. I thought that that was a positive experience for a lot of people.
Great, thank you so much.
I just have one question onto that. Michael, I loved everything you said, and I agree with all of it. I want to let everybody know that the Drug and Alcohol Committee that we have within the district actually brought in that assembly, and I thought it was, just like Michael said, it could make more impact when it's school-age children going through similar situations that our kids are, knowing that they can get that help. So I love that you have that feedback.
Thank you.
Yeah, just really quick. I went to the assembly. I went to that assembly. It was extremely powerful, even for the adults in the room, though, which was interesting. The way that you're saying that the adults don't feel as powerful, like when the kids hear it. Like there was I was sitting around 50 teachers who were like almost in tears and some of it. It was wonderful. They were shout out to Mr. Modica too, because it was really an amazing presentation. I agree.
I have a question for Friday night. Do you think that the kids would prefer to do a sleepover? And what's the issue with not doing it?
I think, my favorite part was, one of my favorite parts was the sleepover, because it's a little bit less structured. It's kind of just like, you have fun with your friends or whatever. But I remember, so my freshman year was sleepover, and then my sophomore year I came back and volunteered. and I remember there being concerns over getting chaperones for it overnight because, no one wants to spend their Friday night there. And I know that sometimes coming from participating in it, then to being kind of more of a chaperone as an upperclassman, it gets a little bit out of hand, so I can see why. But I think you do lose a bit of that connection when it's a sleepover and makes it a little bit more active. But I'm sure it'll still be great.
Is there any way we can find out if the kids want to do that, have a sleepover,
So the kids do.
chaperones?
The kids do want to do it. Last year, I know Jax and Jackie and we advocated fiercely for the overnight. We had our own freshmen that wanted to do the overnight. There was just a lack of chaperones, like Michael had said, and there wasn't an ability to do it, so they reimagined freshman awareness, if you will, and that's what they came up with.
Okay, so my issue with that is, we have to find a way, because I feel that, yet again, I'm saying this, these kids, it's systematically being pulled back. We don't have First Valley anymore. We don't have certain out-of-town school trips. We don't have enough chaperones. How do we fund the chaperones? Okay, is it contractual? How do we do this? Because we never had this issue in the past. Okay, and honestly, the kids shouldn't lose out. I mean, do we then open it up to parents? I don't understand. Where there's a will, there's a way. Okay? I genuinely believe that. So let's find a way instead of consistently cutting things out. Because that's what's happening.
So I agree with you, where there's a will, there's a way, except parents, chaperoning was not an option. They are not certified, they're not background checked. There's a lot of security and logistical issues with that, so we couldn't have that be an option for us.
Well, okay, then stipend, then look into the contractual issues of it, because honestly, let's do it. Let's find a way. I'm heartily disappointed at consistently cutting things away from these kids. And I said it as well in the middle school. When it was a junior high, we used to have school dances every other month. And the kids loved it. I know I did. I looked forward to it. We have to bring these things back. And we have to figure out a way to get chaperones. Okay, we can't just say, oh, we don't have them. All right, whatever. That doesn't work for me. How do we do that, administrators?
I don't think it's this month, sorry.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't want to see these things cut back, and I was very disappointed last year the freshman was not an overnight. It should be, because the kids do miss out, and I think there is an element that goes missing when they're not there overnight. And yeah, lack of dances, lack of everything, and I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, that there is a stipend. So I'm not really sure what the issue is that we're not able to get the chaperones, but honestly, the ones who are missing out are the kids, and that's not fair. That's not how I'm doing things like every weekend. I feel like when I came here, between dances and everything. I mean, we tried last year. They tried the homecoming dance, but that wasn't advertised early enough. It just wasn't done, and then it was canceled. The kids prepared and it was canceled, so then that wasn't right. So yeah, we have to find a way to do this, because I do believe a big part, I see this, with mental health and everything, is bringing kids together. Having these events, showing them that there's a connection here in the school, and I think it helps. I think in the long run it helps with pulling it up to all that when you have these types of events and you bring students together.
I will say that I heard, and again, I don't know if this is accurate, but someone has to find this out, that oftentimes we have new teachers, untenured people that are very enthusiastic, that are willing to volunteer, want to be involved with this, want to do it, but we're essentially told not to. So can we figure that out, find out what's going on with that, so that we do have the requisite amount of chaperones for these things? It's not like these kids have something every weekend. And honestly, that's an exciting thing, having sleepover, and then it was just canceled because we didn't have enough chaperones. Something that's not right.
So I just wanted to say that I do not believe that this has been a fiscal issue. I do believe it's come down to a true lack of interest for the staff to do an overnight. You know, in terms of any behind-the-scene pressures from colleagues, I couldn't speak to that. But I do know that there was a full court press made the last couple of years to get sufficient chaperoning. My first year here, I actually was one of the chaperones. I did the overnight. I know we had board members as well, and they're not faculty members, and you really do want to, when Ms. Mallon said, you want faculty members to do the overnight. So there's certainly, if there's ever enough interest from the staff to to cover the overnight, then there's certainly there's support for that. And it does need to be properly structured. That was one of the things that I saw eat up all night.
Are you telling me that the staff just doesn't want to volunteer for these? Is this why we don't have, I guess, 7th grade going to Washington, D.C., things of that nature that we've always had? Is this why we don't have Cross Valley? Is this, you're telling me that the staff just doesn't want to do it?
I'm just being professional.
I was just gonna, I do remember, and in mental health, last year we had, the mental health committee had like a student panel that came in, and dances were one of the things that came up. And I remember going to all the dances too. I guess times have changed a little bit. They had ample time of putting it out there and not well attended. I think like parties at people's houses have become more of the thing. But what I would like to see us do then, if like dances are not it, let's figure out what it is. Maybe that can be an initiative of the anti-bullying or something like that, make it together. But like, I don't think that wasn't even like a chaperoning issue. That one in particular was literally that no one bought tickets.
Right, but if you have a DJ the way we used to have it.
They had it already.
Getting it in.
I think it's different. I don't think it's like as exciting anymore, but let's find like what is gonna get everyone together now. I think it's a better thing than trying to like push or force like a dance. If that's not, let's find out what the kids want.
I just want to add in defense of our faculty that times have changed. And we all know from our own lives, we're constantly on the go. When you have 1, 2, 3, or more children, you have sports, you have activities, you have music, you have a lot of things going on. So whereas we always think back to our lives, which I do the same thing, and gosh, the memories I have from even elementary school, the dedication that these teachers had and the time they gave up was amazing. But there wasn't as much demand in their personal lives as it is now with this constant on the go, constant, every kid involved from the age of 4 on. I just think that society on a whole has changed, and the shift to constantly needing to be there and be somewhere is much harder for faculty to dedicate time than to the school. We do have obviously amazing staff members who do dedicate the time regardless of the fact that they balance out. I mean, we have people at this table who do the same thing, and the life-work balance. But I just want to, make sure that we're realizing that how society has changed and the demand on all of us.
And we definitely see with all the events across the district, one of the things I was going to bring up is all the great Veterans Day events and the big role that the staff play in all these events throughout the school year and giving up their time as well. So, it's one of the
So I don't feel a need to defend the staff. My mom used to work here. She was a teacher here. I get it. I don't think times have changed that much. They've always had children. Some have sports, some don't. Some have dance, some don't. I think it might be a negotiation contractual thing, but it definitely needs to be addressed. Whether it's, I don't know, but we can't just take away all of these significant things that are life-enhancing memories for these kids, okay? Because we're saying things are tough. We've all had kids for a long time, okay? My mother did, my father did, but they did it. They volunteered for these things. They don't have to volunteer for everyone, okay? But we have more than enough staff. And I genuinely believe a lot of them want to volunteer. Let's figure out a way to do this, whether it's negotiated, who knows, but let's do it. Instead of consistently taking things away from the kids.
Because that's what's happened.
Thank you, Michael. I will now open the floor for the first public comment portion of the agenda. I will call individuals forward one at a time. Please wait for my acknowledgement before stepping up to the podium. You should have received a number card from security on your way in. If you have not, please see a security guard in the back of the room. Any person wishing to address the board shall address the board president. Comments should be kept as brief as possible and relate to school matters only. Each person will be limited to 3 minutes for one or more topics. Individual employees, parents, or children should not be identified by name, title, position, grade, or building. The use of foul language and threatening comments will not be tolerated, and the board will consider a recess until order is restored. In accordance with policy 1230, public comment will not exceed 30 minutes. If there are additional persons wishing to speak, the board may consider a motion to extend the time. Number one.
You can just come up.
Yeah, we know you're one.
He's by the book.
I'm number 5, really.
Oh, number five.
Number 1?
Is there a number one?
Yes, is this
Yeah.
only?
Come on, you slacker.
No, this is public comment.
Come on, slacker.
Hi. So just as far as what you were just talking about, Sarah, I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I remember those days as us having older kids and whatnot. And there was a certain, there was such a respect for certain principles that nobody had to be begged to volunteer for these things. They did it out of respect for their principal, and there was never a shortage of these things. The teachers, they are amazing, they are helpful and all of that, but there was a certain tone, excuse me, in the building with certain principles. They I don't know, is the word commanded respect, and the teachers just had that, it was a very together feeling. Sometimes it's all about the leadership, I feel. As far as like the dances that you had mentioned also, put a local band in there and see how quick these kids come. And even if the first dance is not so well attended, once they go home and they say, oh, there was a live band, whatever it was, they'll come, more of them will come the next time. And those things, as we all know, the socialization is so lacking these days. They're all sitting on their phones. So I feel like that's a good thing to bring back as well, just to get these kids together and their faces out of social media, which kind of brings me to my next thing, and I apologize, I haven't been here in a few meetings now, but the phones, do we not lock up phones in this district? I was at our own meeting at school and talking about the phones and the state laws and the things, and someone made the comment, Connecticut, they don't even require the kids to put the phones away. Is that the case? Is there no pouch? Did we not do anything about that?
Our policy states that phones are to be put in their lockers at the beginning of the school day.
And
That's our policy.
you think that they are? Why did we not do the pouch thing?
One of the options was the lockers, and the pouches were just financially more expensive, so our policy is to put them in the lockers.
Are you finding that they're doing that, or are they,
I find that I can't get in touch with my child during the school day.
You're not supposed to.
Well, I hope that that's taking place, and they're not just, we see it all day long. They have the headphone in the hair over, and they're talking all day on the phone that's in the locker at the wall 10 feet away from us, So I was just hoping that would have been a strict policy here. I know parents screamed and hollered. I feel like that's a failure to the kids if we're not locking them up and letting the kids get back to being students and have the grades go back up. And And, you know, can't be afraid of the parents and whatever the kids are crying about, they need their phone, it's their security. This is, you know, where the problems come in with that. I think that a good, strong policy about it needs to get in place and stay in place. You know, you guys are the professionals, you know what it does in the classroom and the distraction if they're not really keeping them in the lockers and they're in the backpacks and all.
Thank you, much appreciated. I will add that the schools, in my opinion, have done a good job, especially during a students' free period and or lunch period. They have provided games for them in the cafeterias. I know that my own child utilizes some of those games that they put out, so there is more interaction amongst themselves and less focus on where's my phone.
Perfect, that's I think what we want.
Deirdre, I'd like to add, just from a student perspective, we had a student recently come back who shadowed a teacher who graduated last year. I happen to know the student. She got in my car at the school and said to me, it was so weird, no one had their phone.
Oh, wonderful.
So it really is happening.
I hope.
The environment that she graduated from last year to this year, she couldn't believe the difference.
Good,
That's how much
that's good news,
it
that's good news. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Number 2.
Hello, my name is Petal. I'm an 11th grade student in this district, and I am speaking on behalf of many students who have experienced harassment, neglect, and discrimination. These students and I have created a movement entitled the CIU, or the Cicatrix Eliminators. This means to highlight your imperfections as they do not make you any less human.
Can I just ask you, I'm sorry not to interrupt you, but can you step back a little from the microphone so I can hear you a little clearer?
Yes.
Thank you.
So this means to highlight your imperfections as they do not make you any less human. The CIU stands against child neglect, and we stand against the system failing to protect us. I was in a car accident on October 31st, 2024, and I had severe injuries, including 2 cardiac arrests. While recovering, the English tutor that was assigned to me missed every session.
I just can't let you say any staff members' names or go into any...
Oh, I won't.
Okay.
She only showed up to the first session and only asked about the accident during it. She was paid for this. She also exploited my trauma and got people to chip in to a gift card that was never given to me. After returning, staff obsessively focused on the accident. In June, I wore shorts to school, and because it was around...
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think you're getting into a personal realm right now, and our attorney actually just asked me if you wanted to step out to the hallway and speak to him and the superintendent before you share any more personal information that's being recorded.
It's okay.
You finish, if you want to finish.
Yeah.
No, I'm just giving her the option, that's all.
No, I want this in public. I have healed scars on my legs, and staff interrogated me multiple times even after I explained that I was in therapy, had a psychiatrist, and was not suicidal. They insisted that I cut myself because of the accident, and they asked highly inappropriate questions such as, do you get piercings instead of cutting yourself? They repeated harassment caused psychological damage to me. I spoke out about my experiences, and many students reported different offenses. This includes failure to protect students from racism, homophobic discrimination toward students, other students being harassed for scars, a long history of sexual harassment being excused, a failure to address felonies, a staff abusing authority, multiple biohazards, and more that I cannot list all of them publicly because some people are in lawsuits, and I will also not be publicly saying these without people's consent. Almost all of these issues were reported to administrators, and they have done nothing, or they have abused their power. They have done as they please because they have the authority. The superintendent knows about some of these issues and has brushed them off or done nothing. I care about the school deeply and all the people in it, and we want proper training, empathy, and a safe school environment where we can learn without feeling hostile. My story and my scars are not something I should be ashamed of, and school should not make us feel unsafe. We ask for the board to take action on cases that have been neglected properly. Thank you for your time, and I have an article that I wrote a month ago that I would like to give to the board members.
Can you give the article to the security? right behind you, be able to share it with us. I also want to thank you for being brave and sharing your story.
Yes.
We're going to go collect your information, and the superintendent is 100% going to be in touch with you, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Do you want to go in the back over there with the attorney and the superintendent? They just want to get your information, just to follow up with you tomorrow. You're not in trouble at all. See behind you, that gentleman right there in the suit?
After that, can I leave because I have school tomorrow?
Oh, you 100% can leave. Yes.
Please give us your name.
Does she want a woman?
Would you be more comfortable if there was a female also with them?
Yes.
You don't mind? Miss Hoppy's going.
Oh, Ms. Poppy.
Miss Hoppy, yep, thank you. Number 3.
Hello. I live in Bohemia. My name is Gina Carter, and I'm both an employee of the district and a parent of a child who attends OBMS. On election day, I observed a man entering OBMS in hunting camo with a 4 to 6 inch knife strapped to his belt. My training made me hyper-aware of the situation and sent up a red flag. I've spent days reflecting on this situation and I'm grateful that it did not escalate. But at the same time, I'm very disturbed by the idea that we allowed weapons to infiltrate our school. We have a budget vote in May and school's in session. The public is allowed to enter the building freely. Are we going to allow the public to come into our schools with weapons? My husband and I do not want our school or our child to be the next victim of school violence. So what changes are you as the Board of Education, the superintendent, and the head of security going to make to the current protocol so we don't become the next headline showcasing school violence?
So since the superintendent is not here, since I was CC'ing on some of the emails, this was on a school district election. We weren't actually in control of that. We did reach out to the Board of Elections. We expressed our frustration. They did apologize for allowing it to happen. They ensured us that it's not going to happen again. And when we run our elections in May, I'm sure it's the gentleman who are allowed to come out into that.
Okay, so I just want to say that it took an extremely long period of time for me to let them know that there was a weapon that has come into the school. And that is very disturbing. As both a teacher in the district, I do not feel that the perimeter of that area where the voting took place was secure. The gym is easily, you just push the door open and the people can come right into our space. So I'd like to know, are we going to continue to have voting in our schools when our staff is here? Because I don't feel that the safety protocol, whether it be that we have to make changes through legislation or we have to make changes through our local school districts, something has to change.
So as far as the outside elections go, that's really a Board of Elections issue. So you are able to go to Board of Elections directly and express your frustrations with them.
I get that, but don't you think as a board we should do that as well? We should all be going to legislation and making a change.
Most school districts would prefer not to have Board of Elections within their school districts. It does create a number of problems, such as that you're recommending now. But in the future, if you do have an issue, you can reach out to the Board of Elections. We have reached out to the Board of Elections almost instantaneously when we heard that complaint. The Board of Elections did apologize and assure us that it's not going to happen again. And we do have security, whether you see them or not. They are right outside those elections, making sure that's not getting into our schools.
Well, we could make a change by not having it in our schools.
Again,
Maybe having it at the public library or one of the other buildings, but not having voting in our schools.
we have to have our school district elections within our schools, but you can certainly reach out to the Board of Elections and ask them to choose
I will.
I'd like to just join, thank you, Mr. Fasano, because he was in the loop with this. I was just stepping out to speak with one of our students. So when this was brought to my attention, which it was right away, I agree 100% that the board of officials overseeing the polling should not have allowed that individual to enter. So I immediately reached out to the person who is kind of head of the region, and like Mr. Fasano said, agreed 100%, apologized, and was going to address it with that person. So agree with you 100% that it should not have been.
And I'm just looking for, at what point does our staff go from being outside in the parking lot to into the building? I mean, the weapon entered the building. So, I know that the person that's on the outside is supposed to be for school shootings, but is it bringing a weapon into the building enough? Or is it because it was in that part of the building at that moment? That doesn't count? Because that area was supposed to be secure? Because it's not. Let's be fair. Go into the gym. You can push the door right open. And you can't tell me that those people that are working there are not going into the park to use the bathroom. They're entering our part of the building. It is not secure. So there are things that we have to do within our building and locally, not just through legislation, that are going to make changes that are going to keep all of us safe. That's the goal. I mean, I sit here every single year. I listen on superintendent's conference to different lectures on how to be safe, we do lockdowns, we do fire drills, we do all of these things.
Thank you so much. And it is being addressed. I know the superintendent is in concert with security, looking at all things, and I appreciate you bringing it up. Number 4.
At the board meeting of October 28th, a board member spoke about morality and also stated that New York state law is immoral. I found this offensive to members of the LGBTQ community, and I wanted to bring and share with you voices that are far more qualified to speak about morality. Catholic bishops and sisters, Lutheran and Episcopal ministers, and rabbis. So let's have a go. Catholic Archbishop John Wester of Santa Fe, New Mexico stated, "It is our Catholic duty to affirm the dignity of transgender people and to defend them from harm. To our transgender siblings, may you always know that the image of God resides in you and that God loves you. It is critical that we do everything we can to prevent any further discrimination or harm to our transgender brothers and sisters." 6,000 Catholic sisters created a statement of solidarity which states, "As members of the body of Christ, we cannot be whole without the full inclusion of transgender, non-binary, and gender-expansive individuals." The Episcopal Church created guiding principles for the inclusion of transgender and non-binary people. It states, "We will protect the rights and respect the dignity of transgender and non-binary persons, refusing to reject, judge, and belittle or in any way dehumanize them." The Central Conference of American Reformed Rabbis created a resolution on the rights of transgender non-conforming people, supporting full inclusion and the use of preferred names, pronouns, and opposing discriminatory laws. Conservative Judaism, the Rabbinical Assembly of Conservative Rabbis, passed a resolution affirming the rights of transgender and gender non-conforming people, encouraging synagogues, schools, and camps to become more exclusive. Lutheran Bishop Eaton stated, "We must stand together faithfully advocating for the full human dignity of our transgender and non-binary siblings." And I haven't even scratched the surface. I could go on forever with religious dignitaries standing and using the words dignity, love, and respect. And they have the words of morality. And I just want to say, if a board member feels New York State laws are immoral, that board member can always resign. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 5.
Hi, good evening. I just wanted to speak regarding chaperoning. So it's been a while since I've been aware of the district's cost of chaperoning. But I know in the contract you will find verbiage that explains how chaperone pay is distributed and how much money is given per event. Per event is not per hour. So if you have teachers that are making anywhere between $54 and $115 an hour, I can assure you that your stipend for chaperoning is not equal to, equivalent, or near. It's something like maybe $18 to $22 an hour. So you could clearly see that teachers are not going to be thrilled to chaperone, nor will you find other people in the district who would also fall under that category. So I would suggest that the contract be read, and the next time you negotiate and allow for it during budget negotiations where we're not, and I know this is terrible, I am a taxpayer, we're not saving the taxpayer. If you choose to save the taxpayer and not get to the 2% or be anywhere near it, then it's going to affect what you can provide to your students, to your district, etc. So be aware of that. A budget is coming, and if you want to, I won't use that word, if you want to critique it to the pencil, then no, there will be things that you cannot provide your children. So I just want to address chaperoning as one issue, but you may want to look at others. So please keep that in mind as you're reviewing budgets and all contracts that will be due within the next year. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Number 6.
I got home from work and I really wasn't going to come tonight. But then I heard you guys talking about my favorite thing, freshman awareness, and I decided that I had to come and set the record straight for what you guys are all saying, and a lot of it isn't true. So, number 1, freshman awareness is one of the best educational programs in the district, run by 2 of the best teachers, and also all of the terrific people that have volunteered over the years. It is true they do not get paid enough. And that is why for the last 2 years, Marisol, you and I, we spoke about this. We fought to have them be paid a double stipend or to get paid something additionally because it was an educational program. There was grant money funding for it over the years. That was, we made a budget line under Mylan Aldis and Lee Kennedy when they were on the board. They made a budget line to make sure that this was a fully funded activity so everybody could be involved because it was freshman awareness. Because of that, it should have been over the years when it was under different leadership at the building, there was a lot of support for it. But over the years, it wasn't support. You need to have support from the top down. You can't have board members in with the building leadership, last freshman awareness, hanging out. That's not what freshman awareness is for. I know myself and Jackie DiLorenzo ran around last year helping all night long. I know that I stayed over 2 years ago the entire night and was walking hallways. I mean, I don't know what to say other than so many people volunteer. But if you're going to be there, then actually be there and help. So many people show up, but they're not really there to help. The kids love it. You see the kids in the hallway, you see how much they get out of it. I know from my own experience that my children had 2 totally different experiences with it. One enjoyed it, one didn't enjoy it, but for different reasons. I would never take the one that said, oh, I didn't enjoy it, because I actually said at the end of the night, and I know Dr. Sensimore saw it too, my child at the end of the night was was dancing and having a good time. And I went up to them and said, hey, I thought you said you don't like this. But some kids don't like sharing their feelings, but they have to. It's part of growing, it's part of getting to know other people they don't know. It's a spectacular experience for the kids, whether they enjoy it or not, they learn a lot. I hope that you all go, or whoever does go, and you actually put the time and effort in. And if you want more people to volunteer, I agree, you gotta change the stipend. It's much longer than anything else. And the other thing I want to bring up is pet rally. I advocated strongly and relentlessly for you guys to have the kids coming out of the helmet, and we did it last year. Reluctantly they did it. I knew it wasn't going to continue, because if you don't have a voice on there telling people to continue, it doesn't continue. And therefore, this year, done, wasn't there. Why? That is something easy. I agree with Sarah, as the last note, that what is going on in this district? Where are all the trips that are overnight? I get it, you say that it's hard to get people that are willing to do it. What about the people that are willing to do it? Make an incentive for those people, incentivize it. Kids deserve to have fun. You have to educate the whole child, not just what works for whomever.
Thank you. Number 7.
Can I come back? I agree with a little bit regarding, there needs to be clarification of the stipends in which the district pays, and that's regardless of contract. If you have a staff member who's running a club or a program, etc., they should be withheld to a standard. How many chaperones will be needed? Do we need X amount? We don't want people just showing up last minute because they have nothing to do on Friday night, and they do want to hang out with their peers. So there maybe needs to be some very specifics regarding clubs, activities, how many hands are needed. I'm sure there's probably a requirement, whether it's a policy of how many chaperones per student, but that all needs to be looked at as well, because you don't want to be paying someone a stipend and then they're just pushing work out onto chaperones. We want the people that you're paying to actually be doing the work necessary. And how many stipends do you need for the overnight freshman awareness? Do you need the refresher course for every teacher and then the chaperone for the event? I would think that our teachers really know how to chaperone. So that might be a way for the district to get their overnight back without expensing additional money. So that's something I believe was looked at a few years ago as to the cost effectiveness. So maybe that needs to be addressed again. If you can just give the set amount of chaperones for the event, you can provide for the students without overextending the chaperone budget line. So that's a thought.
Number 8. Okay. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve the treasurer's report for September 2025 and the overtime reports from July 1st, 2025 to September 30th, 2025?
Motion.
Does anybody have any questions? I don't have a question, I just do have one comment. If we can, as administrators, just look more closely into the overtime report and why so much overtime is being given, and if something needs to be done in the department for all the overtime, maybe it's something we can look into. All in favor? Aye. Can I call for a motion and a second to approve the non-instructional personnel items as presented?
Motion.
That's the non-instructional, that's the one that's regular. Can I have a motion and a second? We did. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Can I have a motion and a second to approve the instructional personnel items number 1, 2, and 4 through 12?
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can I have a motion and a second to approve item number 3 from the instructional personnel? Ms. Parisi?
I'm abstaining.
Ms. Di Lorenzo?
Yes.
Ms. Scarparosa?
Yes.
Ms. Iantelli?
Yes.
And I am a yes. Can I call for a motion and a second to approve items 2 through 8 of the consent agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Are there any questions?
Just a question. Number 6, just if you can elaborate on that, the student teaching, why those particular schools, just a background on that. The affiliation agreements?
Sure. Every now and again, college will send us an affiliation agreement that we vet through Gersio's office. And we ask them to just kind of take a look at what our responsibilities are for student teachers, for student observers. So this affiliation agreement is with SUNY Westbury and SUNY Oswego. We've had several on other board agendas for different colleges. So it's just to ensure that, you know, everybody's in compliance with what we need to get done.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Superintendent's update, Dr. Sunmore.
Thank you very much. So last board meeting, I talked about some of our wonderful partnerships that we have. So tonight, as part of my update, I want to, because we recently have Science National Honor Society students participate. So Science National Honor Society have been working at Pickman-Bremer Wetlands. These are students. These students have been working there for 3 years, and they help lessen the risk of community flooding along the banks of the Connecticut River. They plant native land and aquatic plant species, trees, arrange rock walls, create gravel walkways. They mulch beds and weed gardens to foster a healthy ecosystem and to beautify the conserved properties in southern Oakdale. So this is another one of those, you know, outreach partnerships programs that we're looking to highlight as often as possible at our board meetings, in my videos, and we're also working on a mid-year mailing to the community to highlight a lot of the great programs and things that are happening in our classrooms and beyond. I did recently just send out today a communication regarding safety concern that was brought to the district's attention by administration and also by Suffolk County Police with regards to the increase in utilization of e-bikes and even e-scooters, especially with the e-bikes. They can be, you know, that these are all motorized vehicles and they can certainly obtain pretty significant speeds. So, you know, I just wanted to share that information with the community that went out a few hours ago tonight, and just to say that, you know, e-bikes, e-scooters, there are requirements of age that don't even apply, you know, for anyone unless they're at the high school level. But we do not allow e-bikes and e-scooters on school grounds, so we can maintain a safe school environment, students, staff, and our community. I want to acknowledge, I mentioned it briefly earlier, all the great work around the district with regards to Veterans Day. You know, one of the hallmarks of Connecticut is the great job we do all year long, not just one day a year, on all those who have served and continue to serve our nation in the armed forces. Just a great job across the district, all the schools, lots of activities, special events, and inviting our veterans into our buildings. Really a great job by our staff, our admin, and certainly with a lot of these events, you know, parental organizations like PTA played a direct role. We've also had to continue to have a great deal of honor society induction ceremonies, speaking to, you know, the academic progress of our students at both the middle level and the high school level. We just had the OBNS National Degree Honor Society, the High School's World Language Honor Society, and we have the Math Honor Society, Blue Alpha Theta, and the Social Studies Honor Society, Rho Kappa, at the high school this week as well. We heard about freshman awareness. We also have OBNS holding their Triumph Talent Show. It's also been an incredible time for our athletes, our student athletes. It was an incredible fall varsity season. We had a lot of teams make the playoffs. Tennis and gymnastics won league titles. We had several students earn individual honors. We had a good deal of swimmers, divers, and cross-country runners competing in states and regionals. And of course, both our girls and boys volleyball teams are Suffolk County champions, and just an incredible run by both teams. The girls advanced to the Long Championship. It was a heartbreaker, but boy, what a match that was. And the boys are continuing to the States, and they will be in Rochester this weekend for that tournament, and we wish them good luck. A reminder to our community that Tuesday, we're going to do our annual emergency preparedness drill for all schools, the 15-minute early dismissal. Just want to once again congratulate all of our student musicians who are on this evening. And as the calendar now will soon turn to December, there will be a plethora of holiday winter concerts, and we invite our entire community. It's a great night out to see our students of all ages perform. Very talented. Thank you to the PTSA who hosted this past weekend's Holiday Craft Fair. And as always, thank you to all of our building PTAs, to SEPTA, to ARBA, they are our music and art boosters, to the athletic boosters, to all of our civics associations, especially this time of year, helping with the food and clothing drives, and to Rotary, who plays a big role in helping with our local businesses and partnerships there, and especially with apprentice opportunities. All that all these groups do for all of our students, staff, and community. Wishing everyone a wonderful Thanksgiving, and as we give thanks, I want to thank all of you, our students, staff, parents, community, local businesses, organizations, our Board of Education, who collectively made Connect Lot such a very, very special place, and enjoy the start of the holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you. We have our Board of Ed committee reports. The Mental Health Advisory Committee, Ms. DiLorenzo.
So this past meeting, which was November 5th, we went over some things that were going on, like the Red Ribbon Week, United We Stand, and World Kindness Day, which was on the 13th. And the theme they went with was sport and kindness. They were wear all colors to show support and ask the students and families to send in cans of food on that day. We have Random Acts of Kindness Week coming up, February 9th to 13th. And of course, there's PSI Love You Day, which we've done for many years in a row, on February 13th. We do have Cohen Strong Mental Health with 5 high school students that are representing our district. They're actually going to be going to Albany to advocate for mental health. We're working on presenting a community project in June. We also went over different reporting. They're not, of course, there's not any crisis support, but another resource too was the Creating Healthy Digital Boundaries, which is on the district website. And then we went over a little bit of the history of the EASL program, which was which was basically built out of Ruler. Ruler is very, tends to be very political, created out of CASEL, which is ultimately based off of critical race theory. So it's very divisive, very political, and so our district was able to take Ruler and not use it, but to focus on, emotional well-being. They turned it into EASL, where there are different initiatives in the schools. One school that they have almost like a student that they showcase every single month. There's a lot of different things that the schools do. Actually, there's one thing I've seen, I think Cherokee does this, that they have, and I'm such a Harry Potter fan, so I was totally loving this, where they almost have like houses, where the students are different, and they have, it's all the grades, K to 5, they're one house, I think there's like 7 of them, and they do different activities across the grades, and I really thought that was a great way to bring students together. I would actually love that to be done in all the buildings. I know it was something that the principal went to learn about it, and the assistant principal went as well, and they implemented it in their school, and it really is adorable. I tell you, I see these kids wearing these t-shirts all the time. And I think it's a nice thing to do. I would actually love to see that across all of our elementary buildings, and even brought into, the middle schools, that when they have their coming together day, those particular students, the ones that are focused on gratitude or kindness, they meet each other, they kind of work together. It's all about that collaboration. So these are basically, I think, it's just about the things that they talked about. We're reading the book, The Anxious Generation, that we kind of always have to read, just to keep up with what's going on, since things are changing constantly. And yeah, I think that's pretty much, that's my thought.
Thank you. The Bullying Prevention Task Force, Ms. DiLorenzo, Ms. Parisi.
All right, so again, it's a task force that was kind of built from the Mental Health Advisory Council, so they did, again, mention the call to kindness, but we did go into some talking about, bullying and what we can do for, for this problem, and, and it is an issue, and where they're trying by, training some students. We have students that are being trained in an ambassador program. I believe they're being trained through LICAB to try to, it's kind of similar to a little bit with what Michael touched on, that students want to hear from students. So as much as, the adults can get up there and do assemblies about all sorts of things, having the students bring it to their peers maybe will make a little bit of a difference. We do want to see this, bullying being taken care of. It's unfortunate, it's something that will probably always exist, but we want to do everything that we can to be that zero tolerance school and to take care of it. So, it's a work in progress, but we're,
Mine is short and sweet. We categorize ourselves as a zero tolerance policy school district, and we categorically are not. And that needs to be addressed. It needs to be handled. We have to find a way that kids can come to us as adults and the administration and teachers and actually have something happen to protect them where they feel safe. Okay? And I very specifically asked, do we have the stats on whether bullying has gone up or down? And you can't, the stats don't just constitute, I know legally it does, these DASA reports, but oftentimes there are 2 and 3 complaints before it gets to the level of DASA. There are some kids that, as sad as this is, don't have parents that are willing to go up or have the time to do it. But these kids are feeling like, hey, what's the point? Why am I going to do anything? Why am I going to complain if nothing is being done? Especially at the secondary level. Pulling them in to sing Kumbaya and really putting the victim in a position where they're kind of facing off with the actual bully doesn't help. So we have to find a way to fix this. We have to find a way that every kid feels safe and every kid feels heard. That's my thing. That's what I'm looking to work towards. I'd like to do that with the people on the task force.
Thank you. We have the emergency management. That was myself and Mr. Rosa. We really discussed the district-wide safety plan. I mean, I really can't get enough of Mr. Labate for giving us the district-wide safety plan, so thank you. Did you want to add anything? I think that's really all we spoke about that time. Board of Ed topics. We have district updates. Ms. Sinatelli.
So, like Dr. Seymour said, our goal this year, one of our goals, is to highlight the positivity in the different programs that we have within the school that I don't think many of our community members know about. So, the update for this week is Connecticut recently was recognized as a high school that boosts strong academic programs with a variety of advanced placement courses and honor options. Students at Connecticut consistently perform well on standardized tests, with many school scholars earning recognition in state and national competition. The school maintains a graduation rate above average. We participated in the 19th annual Adelphi Apprentice Challenge. 10 of our National Business Honor Society students joined peers from 28 Long Island high schools to develop and present marketing plans with the Jovial Financial Credit Union. 2 of our students advanced with their teams to the top 5, and all that participated demonstrated teamwork, creativity, and strategy. They all did a great job. We also participated, many of our high school students, in a work-based learning program. Students recently toured the TriTech Real Estate Company's Station Yards Phase 2 development site in Ronkonkoma. They gained firsthand insight into the many trades and skills involved in large-scale construction projects. Students learned how to collaborate, how the collaboration between carpenters, electricians, plumbers, masons, and other skilled trades. They got firsthand experience in, like we talk about all the time, that everybody is taking the path to college. This was showing students that if you take a path into these type of trades, what they are, going to be experiencing and how it works in a construction site. I thought it was great hands-on experience for anybody who wants to go into a trade. I really thought that was amazing. I also thought it was great that Duffield Student Council is back for the first time since COVID. I mean, that's 5 years. The fact that it's back, I think it's great. Their council's overall mission is to promote positivity and appreciation, which, of course, we can never have a lack of. I also would like to congratulate one of our Italian teachers for winning she was named Teacher of the Month by the American Association of Teachers of Italian. This is Miss Costa. I believe she's in my high school. So, congratulations to her. I also would like to piggyback on the bullying. Last board meeting, I did ask Ms. Poppy for some information because we had participated in a training about character building and how it's so important to have character building back into our elementary schools. She has provided some information, but she is going back to get more, but I wanted to provide an update to let you know that we are taking the bullying seriously, and we do know it starts at the kindergarten level up. And if we are not educating our students from kindergarten through the 5th grade, what are we expecting of them in middle school and high school? We have to give them the building blocks in the early years to make sure that they excel during the secondary session of their life. So I am happy to say that that is in the works, and we are still looking at many different things and what programs and what we have in our district that can help with character building in a daily, everyday educational basis. New apartment development, Ms. Iannatelli. So I just wanted to quick touch base on this. I know many community members have seen posts on social media about on November 20th at Town Hall, there's going to be a meeting about a new apartment complex that potentially could go up on Montauk Highway in Oakdale. I am urging people to speak up. Just like the Island Hills development, all of these developments affect our school district. How many students come in, traffic, taxpayers, the money. I want you to know that it's a domino effect when they start building these type of apartment complexes all over our neighborhood. So I just want to bring it to attention in case anybody didn't know that November 20th at Town Hall there is a meeting about this potential apartment complex.
And if you wanted to comment, they're taking comments and no questions prior to the meeting. New York State bills, Ms. DiLorenzo.
Well, I wanted to bring up that something that I recently learned about is the New York Freedom to Read Act, which, as far as I know, has not been signed yet as of October 2025, and the New York Open Shelf Act. These are pretty similar. The Freedom to Read Act affirms the professional authority of librarians, certified media specialists to curate collections and make decisions about what materials are developmentally appropriate for students. The bill ensures school library collections provide a wide range of books, including those with diverse characters and themes. And the New York Open Shelf Act is a proposed New York State law that aims to protect the freedom to read in public and school libraries by requiring them to adopt policies that ensure library staff can curate collection services and programming reflecting diverse community interests. And I'm of course, I'm a librarian. Of course, I'm all for everybody being able to, read whatever they want to read, access whatever they want to access. But as I've said before, I firmly believe that New York State government has no moral compass. They don't really have any thoughts about preserving the innocence of children. So given the way that things have gone, I just think we need to be very careful as to where this could go as a slippery slope. We want to make sure that we are still preserving the innocence of children, because we do know if you go into a supermarket and somebody hands a child a pornographic magazine, well, that's illegal. So not sure why that would be okay in a school, just because it's a school, it's still not okay. They're not minors, so, and I'm not that anything's happening, I'm just saying we do know that these things exist in collection. Want to be careful because I don't know where this could lead us. You know, parents do have a right to know what their children are reading, and they have a right to protect their children from materials that they don't want given to their children. So I don't know if I can ask you, Anthony, how this affects us as a school. I know how it affects me at work. It essentially identifies anybody from, if they give a child something, we're going to get in trouble for it. So that's a slippery slope that I feel I'm concerned about.
So right now, to my knowledge, the bill hasn't actually become a law, so I'm not familiar with it. I will look into those.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any board topics? Okay. Does anybody in the public have a public comment?
Me to speak at the...
Yep.
Yes, I do.
Okay. I will now open the floor for the second open public comment portion of the agenda. I will call individuals forward one at a time. Please wait for my acknowledgement before stepping up to the podium. You should have received the number card from security on your way in. If you have not, please see a security guard in the back of the room. Any person wishing to address the board shall address the board president. Comments shall be kept as brief as possible and relate to school matters only. Each person will be limited to 3 minutes for one or more topics. Individual employees, parents, or children should not be identified by name, title, position, grade, or building. Use of foul language and threatening comments will not be tolerated, and the board will consider a recess until order is restored. In accordance with policy 1230, public comment will not exceed 30 minutes. If there are additional persons wishing to speak, the board may consider a motion to extend the time. Number 1.
I have 2 things I'd like to say. The first is about chaperoning. The word on the street in the high school, it's not about time, it's not about money, it's not about not having a great leadership at the high school, it's about trust. I can tell you, for sure, high school teachers do not want to chaperone because they do not trust the Board of Education. They do not trust that you'll have their back if something happens, because they've seen board members pick on teachers for ridiculous reasons in the classroom for curriculum. They just don't want to do it. So you're going to have to refocus, if you want chaperones, to find out how you can recreate trust. And the second thing I will say again, if New York State law is that immoral, and a Board of Education member must follow New York State education law, the only recourse is for you to resign. And also, librarians have their own code of ethics that disallow librarians to be censors. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 2.
Just to clarify, I'm going to stick up for all of you right about now. The Board of Education, in the last decade, I have watched and witnessed even people who dislike one another go to battle and fight for teachers and executives. I've seen it, I've watched it, I've been part of it. I've seen us actually try to fix things just because we can't tell people in the public at the time. People do go to bat for the educators and staff that do chaperone. The same people chaperone because those people, a lot of them want to or have a reason for it or they're close to retirement, whatever the case is. It's a nice thing that they do. It really is, because the kids couldn't have these wonderful initiatives, functions, events without it. But something has to be done. Because years ago, their Board of Ed was not much different, and at the same time, people were, it seems that the leadership in the building has changed. However, the board keeps changing here and there, yet it's still, they don't trust you. They don't trust you 5, they didn't trust when it was me up there, they don't trust when it was a different board. So at the end of the day, it's a lot of excuses. If you want to work and help children, you do. The people who volunteer, you see the same faces, and I get it if you're just, a lot of people have their own children, have their own things going on, you can't begrudge them for that. But there should be an incentive. When I was saying before, and I think it was misunderstood, is when we looked into the stipend, it wasn't the correct stipend for an overnight event. You weren't going to pay, they were being paid for a one function when it was really two pieces to it. It's not just the hours, you're working like double time, you're working overtime all through the night. Those people deserve to be paid something different. It had to be, and it was fixed at the time, if I'm not mistaken, and it was changed to reflect that people got paid more because it was an overnight event. Why it switched, I had two children, one did the overnight, one didn't do the overnight. The one that did the overnight loved it, of course, it was fun. Even though it was serious in the beginning, at the end of the night there's a dance party, the overnight, the bedtime story, and then just the hanging out. The kids love that. It bonds them. It helped with bullying, because a lot of these kids made new friends. I mean, we watched a lot of special education students being embraced by the general education students that they don't get to be in class with. It was really something spectacular. You should do what you can to get people to volunteer, but hearing that people don't trust the Board of Education is that's been said for years under all different board members, and at the end of the day, I'm telling you, there are people up there I do not like and I would not vote for. However, I've been in exec with them, and nobody is out to get the teachers. That is just such fictitious lies that go around because people just don't like other people. At the end of the day, I know specific events that happened on trips, and I recall people up there battling for those people alongside me, so I know what we did.
Thank you.